All right, welcome to the Tricer Podcast. Got another one here coming from the polar opposite corner of the United States. I'm in San Diego, and I've got Rob Fick from the Moose Hunt Podcast. And he's all the way up in the top right corner of the country in Maine. And
Yeah.
he is a moose hunting guide who hunts moose every year in the lower 48 in Maine. And I was like, man, I'd love to have Rob on, just kind of talk about opportunities of moose hunting in Maine and what you guys are all about. So Rob, what's up, man?
Hey man, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm a little drowsy. I got like 5 hours sleep last night. I got home from Washington. I actually got on this pod a little bit late. I slept in, so I'm not known for being late. But this morning I was late, and I'm wiping this. I've got my I threw a hoodie on and ran back to my office. I'm wearing pajama pants, and no one can tell. So,
Yeah,
but I'm here. We're
cool.
podcasting, dude. We're
Hey,
doing
heck
it.
yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So tell me about you. Tell me about what you do back there.
Yep. So I'm a hunting guide here in Maine. And like I was telling before we started this, Moose Hunt Podcast is basically one giant group of guides for an outfitter here up in northern Maine. OMM Outfitters is the outfitter. So we're just a bunch of guys that love moose hunting, and we became guides so we could do it yearly. So moose hunting in Maine is not really something everybody could do yearly. It's a lottery-based system. So some people can go 30 years without drawing a tag.
Real. So
So
even residents.
yeah, yeah. So there's they give about I think last year was like 4,400 tags, but you have almost 80,000 applicants. So
Really.
the
In
odds of getting drawn are
80,000 residents or non? It's both.
it's both like
Yep.
everybody.
Okay.
Um, so the majority of the tags are residents. Then they give a certain percentage to non-residents, and then also there's a certain percentage of overall permits that will go to lodges and outfitters. They call them lodge tags, which are ones that people can actually purchase. So you could moose hunt if you didn't get drawn in the lottery. You could purchase a lodge tag from a lodge. It's a guaranteed tag, but they get pretty pricey.
I
So
mean, what's pricey? Like 15 grand or more?
uh, most of them are around like 20 to 30. And then
Really?
if it's a lodge that's not well known, they'll start to lower the price once the deadline gets there, just so they can sell it. So I've seen some of them go for about 10 to 12. But
Still more than I want to spend
oh
on
yeah,
it.
still wicked pricey.
Still pretty high. Oh, I
Yeah.
like they used Wicked, man. There we go. Now we know he's from Maine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you guys like a straight lottery system? Like there's no point system back there? Like it's not
Yeah,
like
so there is points. You could build up points every year. You can even also just put in 4 points and choose not to be selected for a tag. So you can just keep building points, points, points. So once you get to a certain age and a certain amount of points that you have, you can automatically get one. But that's like in your 60s and 70s. So, but yeah, it takes a while. Yeah. So the first I think 3 or 4 years you put in, you'll get 1 point for every year that you put in, and then once it gets I think year 5, you'll get 3 points every time you put in. So it adds up that way, but it takes a lot of years to get max points essentially.
so but it's still a strictly random. It's not a bonus
Yes.
point state. So meaning like if you have 5 points, you don't have more chance. You don't have like you're not preferred over the guy with 3 points. You just have 5 opportunities to draw versus the
Yes.
guy who has 3 opportunities. So it's very similar to Nevada.
Okay.
I don't know if you do. I mean, where I'm out west, so like I
Yeah.
apply all these states, right? So if you're listening to this, guys, like so everyone has a chance. If I apply this year, I have a chance
Yep.
for one chance versus the
Yep.
guy who has potentially 10 points, which would be like somewhere around like 20 something points because he started tripling
Yeah.
at like certain point or something.
Exactly. The cool thing about non-residents too is actually non-residents, you can purchase as many points as you want. You could buy them in like packages of 5. Um, points. So that's the cool thing about non-residents. So there's actually a lot of non-residents that will get drawn the first year they put in.
Really?
Yeah. So, and what stinks because regular residents can't do that. You just have to put in and you get what you get.
So I can go on and buy like you don't know what that costs, right? Like I'm just curious. Like is it
I actually
so,
don't know for sure. I could look it up over on this, but I don't actually know the full
so
price
you
of it.
can
But yeah,
go
you
on
could buy as many as you want.
as long as you give them the money. I mean, it's probably couple $100 or 5 points or something to put in. I mean,
Yeah,
that's how it is out here. If you want to put in for a certain species, $50 a species, or
yeah.
some of the state lottery stuff. They do like governor's tag stuff, and then then you're putting the draw to do it. So does that mean that non-residents can't build points then, or
No, they
can
can
they?
still build points. Yeah,
Okay,
and so when you purchase the points package, that's just for that year.
just for that year. Yeah,
Yeah, but
that
you
kind of
still
makes sense.
retain your single point or your 3 points or however long you've been putting in for.
Okay, so no matter what, you're going to get a point because you're putting in
Yeah,
for it, I assume, and then you can do
yeah,
the point package. Huh.
yeah.
Now, what are you guys what are you guys hunting back there? Are you guys hunting are they Shiras or what? They're not Shiras, right? Because they're
Eastern Canadian moose.
Eastern Canadian moose,
Yeah.
but these aren't like giant Alaska moose, right? Or how big are these moose, like
No, so
antler-wise?
like let's say the trophy size would be 50 inches. So
Oh,
we
really?
have yeah, so we have moose that are up to 60. Like with us, our outfitter alone, we've shot 65-inch, but that's like the rarity. So we consider trophy 50-inch and bigger, and I would say the average Maine moose, like a good quality one that anybody would want to shoot, is in its 40s.
Okay, so it's still bigger than like a Shiras moose.
Yeah,
I mean, we have out here. Um, just not quite, Alaska, but Alaska, I mean, there's a lot of moose that size too.
yeah.
So you're getting now, how are you guys hunting these things? It's not like big open country, right? You guys are like thick. I've been there once. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
thick stuff, swampy. Um, are you guys are you calling these things in, or how, or all the above, spot and stock? Are you sitting in blinds, like sitting over
So I haven't personally sat in blinds. I know some people that have, especially if they're like
old?
mobily incapable or whatever. Some people hunt in blinds or tree stands, but we're trying to get up close and personal. So we're doing a lot of calling and a lot of just still hunting, stuff like that. So, but the cool thing about Maine, well, it's cool and it stinks at the same time, but there's roads everywhere from the logging. So you could pretty much drive everywhere, and whatever patch of woods you're trying to hunt, there's most likely a logging road on the other side of that. So it's you could get pretty close to these things.
So is there a lot of public land there? Because like we're like a big, like out west, we're big public land guys. We DIY. So if you draw this tag, do we pretty much then need to go hire like a moose outfitter like you guys to do it, or can we just go back
No,
to hunting?
so like 90% of land in Maine is privately owned, but it's available to the public. So pretty much how Maine works, if the land is not posted, like properly posted, you can hunt it. You can recreate on it, I should say. So all the land that's like up north, especially with the moose hunting, that's all owned by logging companies and stuff. And so they leave it open for you to recreate on, because it lowers their taxes. So it's in like recreational use. So yeah, anybody can come here and hunt it. You don't have to hire a guide.
That's awesome. So you can go up there and do it. And now when you're hunting them, are you mostly? I mean, is there a ton of moose? Like, is this a like if you draw that tag? It seems like it's really hard to draw. Is it? I don't want to say it's an easy tag to fill, but what is it, like a 1 week season or?
Yep. So there's actually 3 different seasons. So there's September bull season, which is usually the last week. Well, last year it was the second to last week of September. It's about the last week of September, which is like peak rut. That's when the rut is. And then there's a second bull season, which is usually the second week of October, right around Columbus Day. And then you have the cow hunt, the cow season, which is the last week of October.
Okay, and now the cow tag, do you put in for that? Is it separate from the bull tag, or is it like a same thing? You put in for the bull tag, you put in, and if you draw the cow tag, you lose your bull points. How does that work?
Yeah. So when you're applying on the application for the lottery, you can select if you want bull only, or you can select if you will accept a cow tag. So if you select you'll accept a cow tag and then you get drawn for a cow tag, yeah, that's it. That's your tag. You lost those points, and then you can only apply for points for the next 3 years. So you can't be in the lottery for the next 3 years after you draw a tag.
So honestly, like me looking at it, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like, if I'm just buying the dang points and buying 5 point blocks, I'm kind of like, I'll accept any moose tag.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, I wouldn't mind just going and shooting. I mean, they're giants, they're
Oh,
giant
yeah.
cow moose, like, I mean, out here to draw a cow moose tag, it could take you 15, 20 years anyways.
Yep.
Some of these states that allow it, like Utah and stuff, and I'm like, if it bumps my odds up to go hunt moose, like, that'd be pretty cool. Like, I would be a tag I'd
Yeah.
wanna go do.
Yeah, and there's actually Maine does a cool opportunity where you can swap tags with people. So there is instances where people will select to draw any tag and they'll get a cow tag, and there's actually websites set up to trade and swap tags. So the people that have the bull tag that will trade for a cow tag will probably ask you for money, but you can trade tags if you want. So if you draw a cow tag, you can trade it for a bull tag.
Oh, really? So you can, like,
Yeah.
sell a tag back there if you wanted to?
It's
Only
you
trade,
can't you
only
can't yeah,
trade.
trade. You can't say you're selling it, but you're trading it.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
could trade it, but they're probably gonna want, like, 5 grand.
Yeah, people will do it for less, actually.
Really? So if I
Yeah.
draw a cow tag, this is I'm learning something here. I like playing in the gray area.
Yeah,
I
definitely a gray area, but it's doable.
If I draw a cow tag, I then potentially could trade it, air quotes, for something and then,
Yeah,
like, a couple grand maybe
yeah,
to some guy out back there
yeah.
for okay. That's a good
Yeah,
tag.
and people will actually trade, so, like, your tag isn't for statewide, it's for a certain zone. So
Okay,
we're set up by, wildlife management units, and so let's say somebody gets drawn for a zone 5 moose, and they have a camp in zone 7. So they'll try to trade their zone 5 or zone 7 back and forth for somebody else that has one that they want. And so that's a lot of people will do that to better your odds of getting drawn. If you actually research, go into Maine Inland Fisheries and Wildlife's website, look at last year's harvest or last year's the amount of tags that they gave out. You look at which zones gives out the most tags. You can kind of play the system a little bit with that and greater your odds of getting drawn. And then if you get drawn, you can trade it for a zone that you actually want to hunt.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. There's opportunities. And, you know, one of my buddies last year was like, "We gotta apply for Maine," and I'm like, "Bro, come on, like, apply
It
for
doesn't
Maine."
hurt. I mean, it's
Like,
just a
honestly
little bit of money once a year, and but
well
if you apply one year, get the points, and then you don't apply the next year, you lose the points. You got to keep applying to
well,
keep
you have to play
gaining.
every year to gain points.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, or just spend the
yeah.
money
Can't
and
skip it. If you skip it, you kind of lose yourself.
okay, out here, it's like if you miss 1 year, you get a warning, and then the next year you lose them in some states like Wyoming and stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
how it works. I think, like, California just have them forever.
Oh, really? That
Um,
would be sweet.
yeah, so but it does kinda suck, like, Wyoming, I mean, whatever, I bag on Wyoming all the time on this podcast, but it's like, dude, your guys' points are so flipping expensive, and then if you don't apply, you lose them,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh my gosh. But, yeah, man, that's pretty awesome. So that's, like, definitely a state so I have to, like, think of how I would do it. I would probably have to, like, fly back. I think you fly into, like, Connecticut, right? Is there airports? There's airports
Yeah,
up
yeah.
north,
So Portland's an
or
international airport,
okay,
and
fly
then
to Portland, there you go,
yeah,
okay.
or you could. So there's actually an airport in a town called Presque Isle.
Yeah,
They have forget who they use now. Maybe it's JetBlue. Anyways, they only have one airline company there
okay.
that flies into there, and it's usually comes from like New Jersey or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure
Um,
it's a jumper airports up there. I've been to Portland, but I drove up from New York, I was doing, like, a
yeah,
shop tour, I was looking at all these different shops, did, like, Connecticut, did Boston, did the whole thing.
yep,
Um, so yeah, so I mean, I have to figure out how I'm gonna do it. So, like, if I mean, now I'm already assuming that I'm already drawing this tag this year, right? So,
yeah.
like,
Hey,
I would
you'd be
probably
surprised, man. It happens.
well, dude, if I go and buy I mean, it depends how much they are, man. If I could go buy 20 points every year, I mean, I'd probably throw $400. It was $100 for I don't know what it costs
Yeah.
for 5 points, but I'd throw $400 at that. So, anyways, I would probably have to fly back, rent a truck, and then drive said truck home. Is like, if with the animal, right? Like, that's probably what
Yeah,
I do because, like, I don't want we're talking from San Diego to you could not get I live at the freaking border of Mexico. You live at the border of Canada,
yeah.
the opposite corners of the world. I mean, I know, like, I was talking when I was back there. I mean, you guys use the F word so eloquently back there. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I've never heard women cuss so much in my life.
Oh
But they were
yeah.
talking, they get on their snowmobiles, right? And they ride up into Canada all the time, right? Or they smuggle beer up to their buddies up there and stuff because beer's like super expensive up there and stuff. I remember that, but it's far. So I mean, I
Yeah.
guess if I were to fly back, rent a truck, kill a moose, drive the truck back, like it's probably how I'd have to do it. 'Cause, like I'm not gonna fly that moose back. I mean, I don't
So
know how.
there's actually the client that I had last year, he flew in and actually brought 4 empty coolers with him.
I just did
Like,
that.
like the medium-sized Yeti coolers, whatever. And so we have our own butcher shop up there. So he actually had the meat butchered with us, and then it was frozen overnight, like in our freezer trailer. And he stuffed his 4 coolers as full as he could get him, duct taped the crap out of them, and checked him as luggage on the way home.
Really, and he
Yeah,
did that. I mean, that'd probably be a way to do it. Probably cheaper than renting a car and driving too. And
yeah,
I do these. They're called kill bags.
yep.
So my buddy owns Kill Bag, and it's a foam like vinyl cooler. They weigh nothing, so I fly with those all the time. Like he's got
Oh,
another one.
sweet.
He just made a 48 incher for me. We should call it the Drew bag because I'm the one that fought to get this bag. It's like the perfect flying size, right?
Yeah,
So I've got one of those actually. I got to go pick up today. But man, if I brought like 3 or 4 of those to have, I mean, you can put 100 pounds in each of them, even though it would
yep,
cost me like $150, like for the overweight. Like who cares, right? Like I can
yeah.
just fly slugger back. I mean, you're probably getting a lot more than 400 pounds of meat out of a moose, though, right? I mean, how much meat do you get out
It
of a
depends on
moose?
the size of the moose. So like case in point, that gentleman last year. So we quarter everything in the field, which is I'm sure what you guys do out there, anyways.
Yeah.
So we bringing the quarters back to the butcher shop and then weighing them on the scale. I think with the 4 quarters and the meat bag, I think we had like 489 pounds. So that's still bone in the quarters.
So you pull the bones out, and you're probably gonna and they grind it, throw fat. So you're probably gonna be in like the 350
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
range.
That's what I'd say. And but this, you can have 1,000 pound moose. This was probably only 750 ish, maybe.
So your
You
moose
know.
are a little bit smaller than like. I mean, I don't want to throw numbers in there, but I think the moose of in Alaska are like 1,200 pounds. I mean, they're
Oh
bigger.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they just look gigantic compared to
Okay.
ours.
I
Yeah,
mean, yours are still freaking 7 foot to the shoulder, right? I mean, they're still
yeah.
giant.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They're big.
They're big. So, so it's very doable, folks. Actually, everyone listening to this podcast, don't apply for moose in Maine because
Yeah, there's no moose here. Don't hunt here.
there's no moose there. If you want to have, I'm just thinking like opportunities for me. That's like a great opportunity. This
Yeah,
is a little bit of a hidden gem for us Western folks. And if I could fly back, I mean, if you like you said, even if I were to hang out for a couple more days, like yeah, like, even if I killed on like the last day, I can just be like, hey, process my moose for me.
yep,
I'll pay you an extra $300, whatever it is, tip to get it done in one day, which most places have like a rush
yeah,
fee,
yep,
whatever it is. Wait for it to freeze, put it in the coolers, fly home versus driving home, having to get ice everywhere I go and have
yep.
like 4 coolers and return that car. I mean, that's going to cost me more than that anyways.
That's just
Yeah.
gonna be a pain in the butt to drive the whole way, anyways.
It'd be a freaking trip, right? And
Yeah,
like, last thing I want to do is tell my wife, like, hey, I killed a moose. I'll see you in whatever.
a week.
It'd be I mean, you could probably bust it in 3 days, but it'd be a long 3 days. I
That's a
mean, you're
lot of Red
talking
Bull.
that's a lot of sugar-free monsters out here. You guys are Red Bullers back there. But you know what you guys do have, and I want to keep talking hunting with you guys and more
Yeah,
about the goose, but like what you guys do have back there that is also like a main thing only is lobster rolls.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we're known for our lobster, so
Yeah. So
yeah.
and like I guess like so if you guys don't know what a lobster roll is, I don't want to do it injustice. They have like little shacks on the side of the road everywhere.
Oh
And
yeah,
I want to call it like a hot dog bun stuffed with like mayonnaise and lobster and butter and stuff, but I don't want
that's
to say
almost
that.
exactly what it is.
So I mean like I don't want to I don't so what's a lobster roll cuz they're everywhere back there.
That's essentially what it is. It's just a cooked lobster, and just it's all chunked up. It's almost like a tuna salad or like a chicken salad mix, but
Yep,
with
yep.
lobster instead. Essentially,
And they
stuff it. A
shove it.
lot. A lot of places just stuff them into the white Wonder Bread hot dog buns or whatever. But a lot of places will actually use like bulky rolls. But
Yeah, like little known fact about Maine is like lobster in the back in the day was like for like the prisoners, right? Like
exactly, yeah.
it was like
Isn't it weird?
yeah, right. Like I don't I'm probably butchering that as well. I remember this is like things I'm remembering. I'll tell you when I was there because I remember now. But Yeah, they I guess, like, the governor or whatever decided, like, to make it, like, the food of prisoners, and then it
Yep,
was, like, a considered like a poor man's food 'cause it was, like, this bottom
exactly.
feeding
Yeah,
crustacean, and then, like, I can't remember the story of how it got really popular, but all of a sudden now, like, you wanna go get a freaking lobster, it's $80. At one point,
yeah.
they were just feeding those things to a bunch of freaking, thieves and murderers.
Yeah, I don't know where that transition came from, but I mean, lobstering is the biggest industry here in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I know you said that Portland's, like, despised by you. I'm sure that's probably, like, a liberal stronghold of
Yeah, yeah,
Maine.
it is.
I'm sure it is. That's kinda like what we had to deal with out here. But, like,
Yeah.
it was kinda cool when I stayed in Portland. Like, I stayed right there and, like, it had, like, the brick like, the red brick cobblestone roads or whatever there still. So
Yes,
really
yes, yeah.
old port style, which I'm sure you guys are like, "That's where all you freaking yuppie tourists
That's
go."
exactly where you were, though. It's called the Old Port.
Is it called the old port?
Yeah, yeah, if you're talking about the old bricky roads and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I stayed right there, got a hotel on the bricks and did that thing, and
Yeah,
I ate dinner on, like, the wharf, went out there, and
yeah.
then did that whole thing. So, dude, I'll tell you when I was there. We're gonna get more into hunting, but I wanna tell we're gonna side note to when I was there. I don't remember the exact year, but I can tell you it was the year of the Boston Bombers, and this is why I know. So, we did this whole tour, uh we went from Jersey to, New York City, Connecticut, did all these shops all the way to Portland, Maine, then down into Boston to see all these
Yep,
different shops. This is when I was running my dad's company. Well, I wanted to go, like, I like visiting baseball parks. I'm out of town, like, I've, been to a few parks, and I was like, "I really wanna sit on the Green Monster." That's my goal, sit on the Green
yeah.
Monster, watch the Sox play. Plus, like, I'm not a big fan of the Yankees. My foreman at the time was a big Yankees fan, so I just wanted to rub it in. So I buy tickets. I buy 4 tickets on the Green Monster. I remember it was like $800 at the time, so it's probably
Wow.
1,500 bucks now, right? It was
Oh, yeah.
expensive. They're not It's not cheap to on the Green Monster. I think every tourist like me wants to do it. So anyways, I get tickets on the Green Monster, and we were staying down there in Boston on that road. Like, they have that road, right? Like, they have, like, there's, like, 10 historical landmarks, right?
Yep.
We were staying in that hotel that's one of those landmarks, right? And, it was the night they caught the Boston Bombers,
Oh, wow.
right? So, it was a night, remember they caught 'em in so they canceled the game. And I remember, like, we went down and went to this Irish pub, and we're sitting there, it's me and actually my partner today from Tricer. We were young, and, we're sitting at this Irish pub, we look up on the TV, and there's just, like, thousands of college kids just, like, singing the national anthem and, like, swinging American flag. It looks like the most patriotic thing you ever seen in your life, and I'm like, "Where's it at?" And the guy's like, "It's around the corner." He's like full on that's my worst Irish accent, right? Whatever. Around the corner, and, so we go down there to this patriotic party, and on Fox News, it looked very patriotic. In real life, it was a bunch of freaking college kids just getting wasted, smoking weed, and they were singing Old MacDonald. They didn't care what they were singing, any song they could. So on the news, I'll never forget that. On the news, it looked so patriotic, flags. When you're down there, it was just a bunch of kids, an excuse to get to party,
It's a
right?
giant
So
wave in the middle of the streets.
so that was the night they killed the one brother and they caught the other
Yeah.
douchebag, and they canceled the game because 'cause they're chasing him all over Boston, and they finally caught him. And, that's my Boston story, and then so I had to give those tickets away to somebody because I had to fly home, so I've still never sat on the Green Monster,
Oh,
I've never
geez, they
seen the
didn't even
Sox.
refund you?
No, dude, like, they just redid the game,
Ah. Oh,
right?
yeah, so they would've let you use those tickets again some other time.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah,
"Hey, this game's been changed to a doubleheader," or something
yeah,
like that. I don't know what the whole deal is, but
yeah,
I do know that if I would've went to the game, I probably would be telling that story today, so it is, like, probably a better memory,
yeah.
right? So I did that whole thing and, whatever. That's my story. So whatever year the Boston bomber, you guys can like put it down in the show notes. Whatever year the Boston bombing happened, I'm not gonna look it up. But it had to be like around like 12 or 13 or something around
Yeah, that
there.
sounds about right.
Those guys are
Yeah.
douchebags. I'm glad they shot the one, and
Yeah, they
we
should have done the other one too.
should have done the other one too.
Yeah,
I see they're like trying to get the guy out all the time. Still, he's still relevant, which is crazy to me.
yeah.
Freaking d bag. So, anyways, I digress. Back to hunting in Maine. So the moose thing is very intriguing to me. I'm into that. When does it start snowing there?
So when you say that, so we have snow in October. My cow hunt this year, the first day of the season. So the Monday before the end of October, we were hunting in snow. There was like 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not common. That doesn't
That's
happen
not
every
but 2 or
year,
3
but
inches
it
isn't
but
bad,
it
but
happened. Yeah.
it's not like covered in snow like September up there, so it's like
No.
it's more gonna be later like the rest of the country later in the
Yeah.
year. Okay, gotcha. Alright, and then, I like the idea that mostly it's, like, air quotes, "public land" 'cause it's all open.
Yeah.
I'm sure Onyx has that on their mapping system or Go Hunt, whatever you're using, you can look it up and see where you can go. Do you guys use Onyx back there or anything for
Yeah,
hunting?
that's almost exclusively what we use is Onyx, and it's not because we prefer it over anything. It's just what we have, and so everybody can share their waypoints and stuff. Essentially,
Okay, now what
yeah.
if I, like what if I did draw and I wanted to hire your moose company to do this? Is that how much is that to hire you guys to guide that?
So this, oh, geez, you're gonna ask me that question. I'm not part of all that. But I
I
think
think
I
it's
think we're at 9,000 this year.
9,000, and does that
Yeah.
include, like, lodging and everything?
Yep. Yeah. That's lodging, food, your guide. Basically includes everything but the butcher fee and taxidermist.
Okay, so but if I wanted to come back and DIY it, and I wanted to come back and, like, bring my tent,
Yeah.
I could do that. I could
Oh yeah.
backpack. It sounds like a lot of public land, so I could potentially like, if I were to do this hunt, I would probably do it how I do some of my western stuff.
Yeah.
I'd put everything into my backpack, like I was backpack hunting out here. I'd fly back there, and I'd just camp in my tent out in the hills and do it, and that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Where the
probably it's funny because like I said, there's roads everywhere, so you probably wouldn't be alone the whole time. You'd probably still see people. That's the crappy part about having roads everywhere, but you can still do it.
Well, that's fine. I mean, whatever. I could bring like one of my Seek tents and a stove and have
Yeah,
like a little wood fire, wood fire stove in there. It'd be warm. I imagine it's cold back there. I don't know. And
it can,
then
in end of September and October, the nights can get cold. We usually get our first frost around then, end of September, beginning of October. So some mornings or some nights are in the 20s.
so I can just DIY it and I can just like bug you and be like, hey Rob, where's the butcher to bring this thing
Right.
to?
Yeah,
Where's the butcher? Because I mean, in my mind, I'm like, I'm killing like day one. But no, it'll probably be a it's every out of state hunt goes. Like whenever you leave your home state to go hunting, you're
yeah.
like, this is gonna be just there's gonna be moose everywhere. So
Yeah, and then it'll be Saturday morning, and you're like, "Man, I still haven't seen a moose yet."
yeah, what do you call herd of moose? Meese or moose? Just moose.
Yeah, just moose.
Just moose. I don't know. Just a
Yeah,
dumb joke. Just a dumb dad joke
no.
for you this morning. All right, so that sounds intriguing. Like enough to where I'm probably going to have to apply for it. I wonder when the draw is for this.
So application period starts beginning of April and ends end of April, beginning of May, and then the actual lottery. So the cool thing about how Maine does the lottery system is we actually have like a lottery festival. So we'll do the drawing live. So like this year, it's I think June 21st, and they change the location of it every year. So this year it's in a town called Farmington, Maine. Last year it was in Fort Kent, which is actually the most northern town of essentially almost the country. Um, but yeah, so the drawing is usually in June, second, third week of June.
Gotcha. Now, when I'm shooting these moose, it seems like it's pretty thick timber. And is a lot of clear cuts, or is it like you're pretty much shooting within 50 yards?
So the average shot probably is 50 yards. I'd say 0 to 100 is usually the most common. But I mean, we've shot them at 13 feet before. So,
So I'd probably like it'd be fun to bring like a lever action 4570.
oh yeah,
Like I'm doing this. I'm on this whole kick this year. I'm doing a open sight lever. I'm flying to Alaska. I'm gonna do stick to blacktail with
oh
an
sweet,
open sight lever action. So I can bring a bow and I think I'm bringing my bow. I'm definitely bringing a lever action. I'm bringing an open sight lever action 30-30. My buddy Ben's bringing his 45-70. But if I drew this moose tag, I'm not gonna bring like a 30 Nosler or something giant. That's gonna be that. I don't need that for this. I'd rather honestly, like we just shot a buffalo a couple weeks ago, at, like 40 yards and, like, seeing what that thing does to a large animal, I feel like a
yeah,
big 45-70 would be a phenomenal moose hunting bullet, moose hunting gun for back there. I mean, yeah, I mean,
oh
what
yeah.
do you guys shoot at him? Like, if a guy shows up at the Creedmoor, are you guys calling him gay or what? I mean, I know I
Yeah,
would.
which
You
is
are.
funny because I used to be a Creedmoor guy for deer for whitetail.
For deer is fine,
But
dude.
yeah,
It's a great deer cartridge. I just, like, look at it and, like, everyone who's, like, trying to justify it as an elk or moose cartridge, like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, dude.
No, it's definitely not. At the end of the day, everybody's going to argue with shot placement, but just use something with some knockdown power. Like, I think actually how we even got linked up to do any of this, I think I commented on one of your posts about a 30-06.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
with the Barnes bullets. I mean, like the Barnes TSX in a 30-06, you're gonna demolish a moose. So
Yeah, I mean that's phenomenal. Like that's my thing. Like right, like we can be controversial right now. If I'm going to shoot a large animal, I want to shoot a solid, like a mono-metal bullet, or potentially like an AccuBond or something like that,
yep,
or partition. You're probably only shooting less than 100 yards anyway, so PCs don't matter. I definitely don't want to be shooting an ELDM or a Burger or
yeah,
a whatever this Sierra Tip Match King that everybody's shooting. Like, I don't want to shoot that at a moose. I want to shoot that solid's going to go all the way through,
yep.
cause damage, cause destruction, and honestly, a lot of frontal diameter on those things. Like, I can tell you right now, like, I won't post the videos. I'll talk about it. We shot this bison, and I mean, it was a canned hunt. My father-in-law shot a bison down in, he's 77 years old. He shot a bison down in Texas a couple weeks ago with a 45-70, full pass through, giant hole, and when that thing was dying, I've never seen it before, it would breathe and it would be a mist of blood like 6 feet in the air,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
right? And I'm sure you see that with moose too. I bet you
Yeah.
see that with moose. And I was like, man, like that is a formidable cartridge for this distance. I don't think, other than a bigger diameter bullet, I don't think any of the 30 cals would be better than that bullet for killing a bison, that 45-70. I mean, it just did the job. That's when you tell me it's less than 100 yards, I actually will guarantee you that when I draw this tag this year, my first year applying, I'm bringing a 45-70 because it'd just be
Do it,
cool.
man.
And
Yeah.
I'd probably bring it open sights and just
Yeah.
do it. You don't need much more. That's the thing's the size of a freaking. I mean, I don't want to say the size of a Volkswagen, but it's
No, they
taller than
are.
it's taller than a Volkswagen, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I think I can hit that thing, at that distance. So I'd bring a 45-70. So you're a big monometal bullet guy, huh?
Yeah, for the most part, for that at least. Yeah.
For that, yeah. Okay, so you're doing like the Barnes, the TSXs or TTSXs,
Yeah. Yeah, for
something like
whitetails, I personally honestly use like Hornady interlocks
just
for
the cheapest
whitetails and
cheapest
stuff.
bullets you could find.
Yeah. That's that. I just go out and buy the Hornady American whitetails. I just buy a bunch of those boxes for whitetails. I wouldn't use them on a moose, but
Yeah, see, that's a difference. So out here we have like we're always shooting 300 yards. 2 to 300. I say that I shot a mule deer at 20 yards this year, but
yeah.
we're I mean, like it's not uncommon to be stretching. My kid shot his buck at
Mhm.
385 this year, and like I
Wow.
don't. You probably have to like go to the one range in Maine to find one that goes that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's
we
funny because most of our gun ranges, like a lot of them don't even have a 200-yard range on it. It'll be like just 100 yards.
So, I mean, like, honestly, at that range, it really doesn't matter, and honestly, those, like, flat-tipped lead bullets are gonna just freaking pound.
Yeah.
They're gonna mush them up and just crush those whitetails. But we have to worry so much more about BCs, etcetera. But, back there, I mean, I get it. You're shooting closer range, and so let's talk about the other opportunities to hunt in Maine besides just the moose, because the moose thing is intriguing, and we didn't really blow it for you guys. It's a lottery, so all we're gonna do is just pump money into your state when we
Yep.
do it. So let's talk about the other opportunities to hunt back in Maine besides just moose.
Yeah. So moose is the only lottery system. I think there used to be a lottery for turkey, but now it's just part of it. It's just a season for it. So yeah, we got fall and spring turkey. Obviously, we have a whitetail deer season in the fall, like usual.
What's your
Uh,
whitetail season look like? See, I still haven't shot a whitetail. My
oh,
father-in-law
really?
shot one last week. Yeah, because we
Yeah.
don't have them in San
Yeah.
Diego. We got
Yeah.
like this weird Pacific hybrid, and I don't know. I always just go chase mule deer or coos deer. I've shot whitetail coos deer,
Yeah.
a handful of those. So, what does your whitetail look like back there? Is it like unlimited, like 16 does, or is it like you can shoot like
No,
one
so
back?
your
What does
your
it look
license your big game license comes with one, just a buck.
like? Okay,
And then you can okay, so I lied. I guess there is still a lottery system. It's almost guaranteed depending on what zone you put in for. But you can get a doe permit as well. You put in for that, and that's given out by zones too. But it's usually the southern part of the state because they say we're overrun with deer down here, so they're trying to get rid of them a little bit. So you can get a doe tag for southern Maine, but if you bow hunt, you can go to certain zones in Maine. They're called expanded archery, and you can buy an extra buck tag, and they call them antlerless tags, not doe tags specifically. But
yeah.
so you can, if you bow hunt, you can hunt those expanded archery zones. and get another buck, and you could buy unlimited antlerless doe tags.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and now again, like let's say I want like as a non-resident, if I wanted to go back there and hunt on the air quotes public land that you guys have, the private land that's open to public, um, are there deer on that land?
There is. That's in the northern part of the state, so they're not as plentiful as they are in the southern part, but they're there. If you find the pockets, if you can find the pockets of the does, you're gonna find bucks. But they're more sporadically spaced than they are in the southern part of the state.
So, I mean, is it worth putting in for a tag as a non-resident that doesn't wanna pay to go, like, go hunt on a ranch or hunt on a lease? Is it worth doing it, or is it like there's just not that much land to go hunt?
It depends on what you think is worth it. If you're just in it for the kill, then maybe not, because chances are you might not. But if you're in for the adventure, sure.
I could probably figure it out possibly and do it and go get one killed and fly home with that. It's
Yeah.
a long I mean, that's a long flight for me. I'm just trying to I mean, there's maybe you're in Colorado and you
Yeah.
wanna go hunt whitetails every year and there's an opportunity to do it and you don't wanna go hunt on a leased property. Now,
Yeah.
are you guys when you guys are hunting these deer, are you guys still doing the same still hunting? Or you guys get up in a tree saddle?
In the
Um,
northern part of the state, it's a lot of it is we do a thing called tracking. So if there's snow, we'll basically track them.
really?
But other than that, it's a lot of still hunting, hardwood ridges, bogs. Basically, if you find some beaver dams, you're probably going to find some deer around them.
Really?
But
Why
in
is
this,
that? Because there's water there?
yeah, I think it's just why it's just crappy area. It's bedding area. They can just get away. It's secure for them. The southern part of the state, a lot of tree stand hunting.
Tree stand hunting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm part of a company called Timber Ninja now. Um, and so we have tree saddles. So I'm
Oh,
like,
sweet.
oh, I can get up in a
Timber
tree saddle.
Ninja. Okay,
Timber
that's a
Ninja,
unique
yeah.
name.
Yeah, they're back there. We're in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, hmm. So, what about beavers? Can you hunt those back there or trap them?
Trap them. There's a trapping season for them.
They're trapping season for them, so that's
Yeah.
cool. There's a ton of beavers, I assume.
Oh yeah. Especially in the northern part. I mean, even down here there is too. But in the northern part, the logging companies actually will try to find people to come trap beavers because they just destroy the roads, flood them, flooding areas. They're trying to have the trees grow well.
All right. So, I mean, your big game is basically moose and deer. Are there any other big game species back there?
Uh, Not really. Coyote. You can do a lot of coyote hunting if you want. Um, but I'd say our biggest things that draw people to us would be definitely the moose, bear. We do, yep.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
you got
another
bear.
big
You got
game. Yeah,
bear. Yeah.
yeah,
What
yeah.
is the
Our
okay,
black bear. I'm sorry, our black bear numbers are through the roof. So
really?
yeah.
And that's a is that a hard tag to draw or
Nope. That's you just buy the bear tag essentially over the
really?
counter. Yeah.
So you can over do you have a spring season or just a fall season?
No, the natives. So like the Indian territories and stuff, they have a spring season, um, and they will sell those sometimes or have people come on, but the over the counter tag is in the fall, usually last week of August, and then that's for over bait, and then the bait season ends 30 days after that, I think, and then it goes into hounds.
Okay, so like someone's a non-resident, I'm probably not gonna bait because I would like even know where to start with like buying jugs of bait and doing all that stuff. And
Yeah, you'd most likely go through an outfitter or a guide, a
you go
lodge.
through the outfit, if I drew it,
Yeah,
you go through a lodge and do it. So, but
yeah.
would it be worth it if I had a deer tag to buy the over-the-counter bear tag at the same time? Do you run into them
Oh,
or
it's possible. It's possible to see that. The more north you go to do that. Oh yeah.
so they're out there? So if I bought
Yeah.
so if I do get a moose tag, I'm definitely going to want to buy a bear tag just to have in my pocket just in case I run into a moose up there.
Yeah. I'd say it's worth it.
Oh man, dude, I am like intrigued to go to Maine. It's almost like going to a different country for me, right? It's far. I mean, this
Yeah.
is like I could actually get to some countries much faster than I get to
Faster.
Maine. I
Yeah.
can get to Canada faster than Maine. I could get to freaking Mexico in 10 minutes. So yeah, man, like, huh. I'm kind of into the moose thing. I'm probably gonna put in for. I don't know if I'm gonna do the whitetail thing. It seems like a lot of work for a whitetail. I think I can get a whitetail a lot closer
Oh
in
yeah.
Maine, but still kind of cool, still intriguing, and possibly actually maybe I could because I'm sure the whitetail seasons and the moose seasons overlap, correct?
They do. Yep.
So maybe if I'm putting in, I do put in for whitetail as well, and I have both in my pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so during the moose seasons, it's archery season for whitetail. So
Oh,
it's funny that you say this. So during my cow hunt last year, taking the client, we're hunting an area and stuff, and we ended up seeing 11 does, 10 does. Sorry, we saw one buck. Ended up seeing 10 does in this, one area, and then we eat lunch. We get done eating lunch, and we start hunting again, and there's this giant 8-point standing on the side of the road just staring at us eating, and in my head I'm like, why don't I have a bow right now? Somebody could have slung that thing. He did not care we were there.
so now is that whitetail tag? Is it statewide or is it by zone?
Statewide.
Oh, so it's statewide. So I can
Yeah.
hunt anywhere in the state of Maine with a whitetail tag.
The buck tag is statewide, and then your antlerless tags are specific to certain zones.
Huh. Very
Yeah.
cool. What was I gonna say there? There's something I was gonna ask about that. Oh man. Oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Are there specific seasons for the moose, like as in like weapon seasons? Like, is there an archery season, or
Nope.
is it just it's just open season on the moose? So if you
Yeah,
draw
you
the
can use
tag,
muzzle loader, bow, rifle.
however you feel like killing it. Now, in that situation, I mean, I feel like a bow wouldn't be a bad choice, right? It doesn't seem like it's gonna be that. It's
No,
pretty
there's a lot
quick.
of people that do it every year. Like on the Maine state archery record was actually broken this past year with a bow. Obviously, archery record. So it's possible.
So you have a week to do it. You want to bring a bow, you can bring a bow. You want to
Yeah,
do it.
and the way we hunt them here, and because it is so dense and everything, yeah, it's you can get them in pretty close. Like I said, we shoot them sometimes at like 13 feet, so it's possible.
Really?
Yeah,
Now, are you calling to get him in
yeah,
that close?
yeah,
Oh,
a lot of calling. Yeah.
there's a lot of calling, so I'd have to figure that out. So when I draw this tag this year, I'm gonna have to call you and be like, "What do I need to buy, and what do I need to sound like to do this?"
Yeah, you don't even really need to buy calls. I don't know if that's what you were speaking of, but I mean, we just do a lot of calling with our mouth,
I'll do rip one right now. You get one.
like a cow call.
Whatever,
Yeah,
sure.
sure. So
Wha-
like, so that's like a cow call. Yeah.
no reeds, no nothing. You're just doing it like
No.
that. No
Yeah.
like funnel. No.
Yeah. My wife hates it.
Just,
Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. It's fun.
all
Yeah.
right.
There you go. You just did it. You probably just called in the next state record bull.
Guys, call it a ball. Wow, freaking moose hunting's easy. I'm gonna just do it this fall.
It's so
All right.
much fun, man.
It sounds fun. It
Yeah.
sounds kind of like, honestly, a lot of the Western elk hunting.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity to do it. I mean, to draw a bull tag out here is very hard, and it's probably very hard back there as well. But in my mind, I'm like, this is such a far place. It's like, why not put in for it? I don't know how expensive it is. I wish I knew the
Yeah.
number.
Actually, I'm gonna.
People,
Maybe I won't look it up right now, but
yeah. So I mean, I don't know how much it costs, but it sounds worth it to me to put in for it. A few $100 or something. I mean, I can't imagine it being more than 300 or 400 bucks. I assume you probably have to buy a license to do it. I mean, maybe not.
not to apply. You just need
Really?
to have the license to get the tag. Yeah. So when you apply, I don't know what it is for a non-resident. I would think it's still the same price to apply, but it's like $15 to apply. And then if you get drawn, that's when you gotta pay for the tag, which
Really?
right
So
here it says if you get drawn, the permit fee is $585
for a
for a
non,
non, for a non-resident. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
585.
And then the big game license is 114.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow,
And that's
man.
only if you get drawn. So that's not to apply. To apply, I
Maine,
think it's like $15 or something like that.
Maine hasn't learned how to screw non-residents like every state out here west. Because
We
like,
want you to come here and spend your money, man.
oh, dude, I wish. Out here, it's like, dude, if I want to draw a bull tag right now, it costs me they call it a special tag now in Wyoming. I don't always bash Wyoming because it's just on my mind. It's like $2,200, dude, for a bull
Wow.
tag. And then your license, like just to apply, you have to buy a license. Like Arizona, it's 165.
Oh, just to apply, you have to have a
Just
license?
you have to license just to apply. So every
Wow.
year, so like you're looking for most states somewhere in that like one 80 to 300 range to apply in most Western states. So you apply in 8 states, you're looking like, 2 to 3 grand just to apply every year, just to apply, and you're not going to draw with moose tag. You're probably never going to draw. It could be 20
That's
years.
crazy.
You're talking, what's 20 years times $300? Well, it's only 6 grand. And you told me it was 20 grand to buy a tag. So that's why we do it. But um, so yeah, man, so Maine is the hidden secret of the lower
Well,
48 for
don't tell
moose.
too many people
Yeah,
that.
only I get like 1,000,000 listens a week on this podcast, so not really. I don't even know. I don't know what we get. It's definitely not 1,000,000, but that's pretty cool. I'm excited. So how many moose have you personally killed? Have you drawn a tag?
I drew a cow tag 3 years ago. 3 years ago,
Okay.
4 years ago. And we were just talking about the 4570 with the open sights. That's what I wanted to shoot mine with. And I didn't end up. I should have. I should have shot a lot of them. I ended up just watching a lot of them. I don't know why, but yeah.
So you didn't kill one. So you still don't have your bull.
Nope.
And you've been applying every year since you were like 10 years old or something, probably.
No, I didn't start applying until in my 20s. So like maybe 10, 13 years ago, I think is when I started applying.
How many points do you have now?
Right now, I only have 3 because I
Oh,
drew
because you
that
drew.
cow tag
When
a
you
couple
when
years
you
ago. Yeah.
drew, how many points did you have then? Like,
Oh, I actually have no idea.
because it compounds, right?
Yeah, so I don't know.
On your 30. Huh.
Yeah,
So you're
something like
saying
that.
you're kind of breaking my heart now, because originally I was thinking I was going to draw this year, but
You're
now
right,
you're
dude.
making it seem
That's what I'm
like
saying.
you haven't done it.
Non-residents, you can give yourself a better chance because you can buy the more points.
I wonder how many points you can buy. Is there a limit on that? I'm sure there is. Sure, it's like
Oh, I'm sure there is. There might not be. Maybe they just want to get all your money.
maybe I can just go and buy 100 points and be like, haha, I'm in. But even with 100 points, like you're not guaranteed to draw. It's not like it's not a strict bonus point thing. It's just a lottery. Just
Yeah.
more raffle tickets in the bin.
Yep.
But you know what? I'm intrigued. All right, dude. I guess let's end this thing with a hunting story from back there, moose story, maybe a client, I guess, killing a bull. Just give us a moose story and a cool one. It could be a cool one. It could be a moose charging in and you shot him at 5 feet. I don't care. Or it could be a moose, whatever. Just
Okay.
give us a hunting story.
Yeah, I'll go with let's just go with this past season, which is actually it was a cool hunt. So I've had the pleasure of 2 years in a row guiding uh, a hunt that's put on through KUIU and Three Rangers Foundation. It's a Gold Star family member program. Anyways, so we hunted hard all week. We had multiple chances. Just couldn't get it put together. Couldn't get it put together. Thursday morning, it's dumping, and we're like, we're still gonna go out. We're gonna get it done. Try to at least. So we did. Anyways, so we're hunting this one area. It's called the Old Winter Road. It's where they log it in the winter. So in the summer, with the grass in the road is like, 4 feet tall or whatever. It's undrivable, I should say. Anyway, so you're hunting this winter road. We're going. It's rainy. It's windy. Your call's probably only going 10 feet, so nothing's hearing you. So we get going, and it's a spot I've never been to before. So I'm looking at my Onyx, and the road, you can either go straight, you can take a left. And I was like, let's take a left. There's some hidden cuts over there. Let's try it out. So you have to cross over.
Are you looking for clear cuts? Is clear cuts like a strategy?
Yeah, yeah. Like back
Okay.
edges of cuts is where you want to hunt and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
No, you're all good. You're all good. So you have to cross over this beaver dam and like this blown out culvert, and you're getting up to this spot, and we crossed up over this hill, and it's like just this flat, floating black spruce like mess. It's like when you're walking on the moss and it's floating, so it's almost like spongy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's still raining, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let out the loudest cow call I can and see if I can get something fired up. So I just let out like this 30-second drawn out cow call, and to our right, a bull grunts. Just, whoa. And you're like, oh man, all right, sweet. So we wait a little bit, see if he grunts again. He doesn't grunt again, but I'm looking at Onyx again, and I'm like, maybe if we go around this wooded area and get the wind in our favor, because when he grunted, the wind was not in our favor. So try to go around this wooded area to get the wind in our favor. We get over there. I let out another cow call, and another bull grunts in the opposite direction. And so now these two bulls are grunting at each other, and they're trying to come for us because we're trying to be the cow. Anyways, so we're standing there a little bit, and these bulls are coming to us, which is what we're trying to do. And I let out another cow call, and more bulls grunt further behind the bulls that are coming to us. So now we're like in this, for some reason, we just found this great area that had a bunch of bulls. And I don't know how it happened, but it did. So we're standing there waiting, and we're trying to get a look at these bulls that are coming in. And my client, Mike was his name, he's like, there's a moose right there. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no moose in front of me at all. Like, we're still waiting for him to come in. He's like, no, he's right there. There's a bull staring at us. And he's like 50 yards away. So I turn around and I'm looking, and all I see is a spruce tree. And I'm like, dude, I don't see anything. And he's like, there's a moose right there. I'm like, there's no moose, man. He's like, I'm going to shoot it. And I'm like, well, make sure it has antlers because I can't see it. And so the bulls are still coming at us behind us. And so I'm trying to like look over my shoulder to see if this one is better than the one that he's looking at. And so then this bull just keeps meandering in front of us. And my client, he has like his wind checker in his hand. We're trying to stand still because he's 40 yards in front of us, just staring at us now at this point. And he has his wind checker in his hand, and he has like the Kafaru like gun tie up or whatever it is. Like it kind of like it lets your rifle kick up and you can kind of tie it right there.
Yeah.
And he has this wind checker in his hand and his gun's tied up. And this bull is like 40 yards in front of us. And he's like, I can't get my gun down. And I'm like, let me see your wind checker. So I take his wind checker, put it in my pocket. Anyways, he finally gets his rifle up, and he's shaking so bad, but the bull is like staring right at us, and he's just trying not to move, doesn't have a good shot yet. And he's just shaking so bad. It was so funny. And then finally gives us a shot. I think the shot was 40 yards. And anyways, I'm going to go into this. All right. So this is with a 300 PRC, and I'm not a fan. So at 40 yards,
too fast at that distance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Not the gun I'd bring for that distance. I would bring
Yeah.
a 45-70 slower bullet,
Yeah.
mushroom, done.
Yeah. So he finally gets around into this. The first shot definitely killed. The first shot clipped the top of the heart. And so here, we believe in fire superiority. Keep shooting until it's down.
100%.
So, a lot of people don't believe in that, and I don't know why.
Oh, shoot until they're down. Big animals, shoot them till they're down. That thing will run off and die in a freaking swamp, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, so he puts one into him. Perfect broadside shot. He starts running, and as soon as he fires that first time, I just start yelling, shoot him again, shoot him again, shoot him again. So he shoots again. I think he missed the second one, and the third one, the bull is running away from us. So you're almost trying to do a Texas heart shot at this point. So his third shot, it hits him, straight on into the top of the lung, and you can see the big air poof come out of it. And this is why I wanted to go into the 300 PRC thing. So we're like, all right, sweetie, he runs out of sight. We don't see him anymore. And I'm like, all right, well, wait a little bit. Go look for blood. We're trying to look for blood, and we can't find blood anywhere. And I'm like, I watched you drill this thing 2 times, and we can't find blood. End up finding a speck of blood. It was like the size of my pinky nail. And, he's getting all nervous. He's like, oh, man, did I make bad shots? And I'm like, no, you drilled this thing. He's got to be here somewhere. He ended up going like 50 yards and piled up in this cluster of spruces. But when we were caping him out and quartering him, we ended up finding the 2 bullets stuck in the hide on the other side. So they never blew through. He was all internal bleeding.
So that to me sounds like more of a bullet choice situation versus a 300 PRC thing. So the problem with 300
maybe I'm not a fan of precision hunters. Maybe that's what it is.
Yes. So an issue you can run into is some of these hot cartridges, right? So like, I mean, that's not even super hot, but 300 PRC is probably pushing a bullet, 3,000 feet per second. Depends on the size bullet. It's going so fast when it hits that you'll have like catastrophic stuff, especially if you're shooting like do you know what kind of bullet he was shooting?
The Hornady precision hunters.
Oh, so he wasn't shooting like man, if I'm shooting a bull, like I'm gonna make sure to shoot like a really high end bullet. So he was just shooting a cheap bullet. So that's the issue. That bolt was going so fast at that range, it was just coming apart when it got
Yep.
inside the bolt. Like, it was coming in the bolt and it's coming apart, and versus, like, getting to do what it's supposed to do, because there's kinda, like, ranges on bullets. People can get pissed off in the comments, whatever. Like, there's, like, a range, like, a sweet spot for a bullet, and I tend to say it's, like, 27 down to 1900. It's kinda like a really good sweet spot for a bullet. But if
Yeah.
you put a bullet in an animal at like 300 feet, like say like I'll shoot like this is a stupid example versus a moose, but like I remember shooting like copper bullets will do it. They're famous for it. If they're going too fast, you'll pencil, right? Like I penciled a deer. I used a 6.5 PRC in Hawaii this year, and I penciled uh both deer I shot. It sucked because I was shooting. I don't want to say what kind of bullet it was. It was a monometal bullet. It wasn't a Barnes. It was the first time ever using them, and I was penciling because the bullet was going so fast at those close ranges. It was going right through and not expanding.
Really?
And the same thing will happen with like, especially shooting like ELDM or something. It's going so fast that it'll explode on impact versus getting to go and mushroom up and do it. I'm guaranteeing that's what happened with that one. Is he was shooting that thing at 40 yards. So if let's say it was a 180 grain bullet. I don't imagine it was a 220. So that
No,
thing
it
is
wasn't.
probably, I bet you that thing was ripping like 300 feet per second. It hit that bull at 3,200 feet per second. It's only 40 yards away,
Yeah.
and it just didn't do what it was meant to do, which is mushroom and penetrate. So what happens? It loses all that mass, and that's what he got on the outside shoulder. Because at 40
Yeah.
yards, there's no reason why a bullet doesn't go all the way through
Exactly. Yeah.
a moose, even a freaking, I would almost wager to say a 243 with a copper Barnes would have went all the way through that moose at that range versus, using a soft jacketed lead core bullet that's really light with a high speed gun. Like that's why I would I would be more apt to use a 30-06 or a 308
Yep.
in that situation. A 308 is more than you need at that range. Honestly, people get pissed off at me. You probably could use a 300
6.5 grand.
a 300 blackout
Yeah.
and at that range have the velocity, the same velocity that your PRC would have at 400 yards, you'd have at that range on that thing. A 300 blackout would have done the same damn thing and probably penetrate all the way through. I'm not recommending 300 blackouts for moose, but at 40 yards, you let's say your bolt was going. I don't know what. I'm probably gonna get yelled at for this. Let's say you can get it. Let's say you can get 150 grain Barnes going 2,400 feet per second out of a 300 blackout. Well, that bolt will work down to 1,900 feet. Oh, it'll work a little bit less than that, but let's say 1,900 feet. Well, at 40 yards, you're probably still going to be in that threshold to hit that thing and get that full penetration impact, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you got to look at. People look at these things like, oh, I need this hot gun. Well, that hot gun, this is my gripe on these guys. Everyone's watching out 30-06 this year. That hot gun really doesn't come into play until 600 or 700 yards.
Yep.
So, like, you still have the same, like, that. Let's say my kid shoots is a great example. I'm a big 308 fan. People hate it. Big 308 fan for my kids. That my kids shoot their 308s at like 2,700 feet per second with a 168 grain Barnes. Well, out to 400 yards, it's a beautiful gun. It's still getting its velocities it needs. It's still
Hmm.
going 2,100 feet per second. It's fully penetrating. I don't need more gun than that. Now, where I would need more gun than that is if I wanted to shoot at 600 yards out west, and I still want to hit that 900 foot, that 1,900 foot threshold, 1,900 uh, feet per second threshold, right? Because you need that velocity for these bullets to work, right? I know
Yep.
everyone. I like talking about energy as well, but everyone gets all pissed off. So I won't talk about energy because I know energy's antiquated. Blah blah blah. Um, so that's kind of why I went to the 30-06. I looked at it and I was like, man, you know what? Pretty much after 500 yards, this is all I need. You don't need more than that. Like,
No.
and I mean, I'm sorry, Hornady. I'm sorry, every gun maker out there, all my friends who build guns. Like, you just don't need more than that to that range to get it done. You just need to hit that threshold. And people get so caught up in like, I need this giant cartridge. And honestly, it hurts a lot of people because honestly, most of your shots, like this year, my farthest shot was 300 yards. I shot a buck at, 300 was my farthest. My kids shot a buck at 385. We shot a buck at 420. But like my personal bucks, I shot um, five of them, and none of them were more than 300 yards.
Yep.
So like 30-06 is perfect, right? It does the
Oh yeah.
trick. And what happens is you're overgunned, right? And like I'm a big guy that I like to play the averages. I don't like to like when, even with my kits and stuff, I like to like prepare for what 95% of the time is, not for 5%. And when you're bringing 300 PRC out there, especially into an area where it's heavily timbered, you're overgunning yourself, and you're probably doing you have less odds of killing that bull than you do with a 30-06 at that
Yes,
range, and
exactly.
that's what people don't understand, because the bullet's going too fast, and there's a bullet choice thing as well. Like, he probably could have went to, I would say I'd wanna go with a TSX on that, right?
Yep,
Not even a TTSX. Bullet choice, or maybe even, like, some of these, like, sledgehammer type hammer bullets that are really open faced, made for those shorter ranges, that's gonna catch a lot of meat and expand, like, because it's gonna go full penetration and expand. Because you almost at that range going so fast, like I said, if you're using a pointed tip bullet, you're not gonna get that expansion. So, like, there's just different choices you could do, or even at that range, maybe go with a I mean, I don't know. Never mind. It's going too fast. He's overgunned.
no,
He
I
doesn't need
agree.
it.
Overgunned. Yep.
He's overgunned. I'm talking too much about this. Yeah, you can overgun yourself, you guys, and you don't need to do it. Like, honestly, the same thing with 6.5 PRC. Like, I gripe on the Creedmoor. I'm building my kid a Creedmoor right now. I shoot a 260 Remington. Like, you don't need a 6.5 PRC unless you're going to be shooting past 400 or 500 yards every single time. And a Creedmoor, honestly, is I would say for elk, a 400 yards is pushing it. But for deer, it's a 500 yard gun all day long,
Yeah.
depending on bullet choice and what you're doing. But you got to look at play the odds, and you don't need that PRC. You don't need the extra velocity until you get out to 600 or 700 yards. And
Yep.
honestly, go shoot a match and see what it's like to shoot 600 or 700 yards. Right? I just did a thing of go hunt last week. It's so embarrassing, my bipod, and I missed 3 out of 5 times.
Wow.
It was a 10 by 10 plate, and it was like 320 yards, and
Yeah.
it was a speed thing, and I just sucked. But, like, what I'm saying is, like, 3 yards is typically a trip shot for me. I was pretty shocked that I missed. I'm still going off of that Brady bent my barrel at Go Hunt or something. Honestly, I think what it was is I was shooting my match gun all weekend at a competition, and the trigger's like, 1.5 pounds, and I went to
Yeah.
my factory Browning 30-06 with Brady because they're Browning guys. They all use
Yeah.
Browning, and the trigger's like 6 pounds or something. So it was like I was
Yeah.
jerking the gun. So I was like missing like just right, just left. And it took me like a couple of shots. It was like cold bore. We didn't get so it took me like 3 shots to get the gun. Like, oh, now I'm realizing what I'm doing. I'm yanking this. I'm pulling the trigger. It's not going off, and I'm jerking the gun. But whatever. Um, I digress. My point is, you don't have to overgun yourself. You don't have to cut up it. The gun you have works. That guy probably, I shouldn't knock, whatever. That guy's not going to listen to this podcast, but he probably went out and bought a gun for this, bought the 300 PRC because he needed that for this hunt. And people think they need to have the biggest boomstick out there, and you don't. Honestly, like, if I'm hunting that thing, I at that range, I probably could do it with a Barnes 30-30,
Yeah,
or
there's tons of people that have slammed
I
them
would
with 30-30.
I would shoot him with at that range. I mean, I might even just bring my 30-30. I'm going to draw the tag this fall. I already told you guys. I'm going to draw the tag this fall. Stay
Do it.
tuned.
I hope you do, man.
Stay tuned. I know I've said it before in this podcast. Like, I'm going to Kenya for missions work from like October 23rd to like November 7th, which is like prime Western hunting dates. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping God just like blesses me with an awesome tag. Maybe it's just moose tag in Maine, dude. I don't know. It's the hidden gem of the lower
It's gonna
48
happen.
for moose hunting, dude. So, man,
Well,
Rob, where can we find you guys? How do we listen to your podcast? How can we help you guys out?
yeah, absolutely. So Moose Hunt Podcast, we're available on all podcast listening platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, whatever. Just search Moose Hunt Podcast. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Moose Hunt Podcast. We're a little late to the game on getting on the social media. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and we have a ton of listeners, but we never had our own social media. I just started those turn of the year, so we've got to build those numbers up. But Moose Up Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
It sounds wicked awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff, bud.
So there you go. Hey, thanks, Rob, man. I appreciate you coming on, dude. Let's do it again sometime, man. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely,
we'll
man. Sounds good.
catch up at the end of the year. Maybe I'll jump on your podcast, talk about hunting out west and what it's like to shoot animals
Yeah,
past,
yeah. Talk
past
about some out west
40,
stuff and some
40 yards.
tripod stuff.
Oh yeah, well, my new HK tripod, dude, it is made for you guys. Full kit. Like, you guys are probably running like the bogs and stuff back there.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
thing,
So yeah, Boggs and the old school like Jim Shockey
trigger
trigger
stick.
tripod. Yeah,
So, dude, like,
it's
I'm
so loud.
convinced your guys' stuff, like what is offered to the Eastern states is so gimmicky. My new HK tripod is essentially a competitive competition tripod for $500, full kit, comes with a tripod, head, and a gun clamp for $519. It'll be out in May, and it is going to, you guys out east don't even know what you're missing until you get this tripod. You're gonna be so stoked on it. So, dude,
Cool. Well,
yeah,
let's jump on one with us sometime. We'll talk
yeah,
about it.
let's do it. Let's jump on next month or something, a couple weeks.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Rob.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy.